be recorded. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go over a case study of a person here. If anybody comes in later, you're welcome to unmute later and then talking about your own specific situation. Why am I going to this case study? It's because I want to show from A to Z how coaching really works, meaning like how your pathway really works. And part of this stuff is what we're gonna do in master classes or what we're doing in your own check-ins as well, right? But this is a very specific scenario of a person that already starting at a very good low fat percentage. So it's hard to sometimes get the grasp of whether or not somebody's getting results, also getting results quickly and how to unpack this whole thing. So I'm going to now shut down a few, you know, turn off a few things so that we don't get interrupted. If you do come in later on, feel free to unmute yourself and that. And by the way, for those of you, actually, I'll say this another time. This doesn't make that's not really connecting to this today. But anyway, all right. So let's put up. I'm not gonna display names, like I said, whether she come in later or not. I just wanna show a few things here. These are four pictures. This is the before picture when she started, and then uh, oh, oh, I just realized I'm not sharing the screen. So give me a second, guys. Okay, one, two. It's a little bit of a mess today. Oh my God. No, not minimizing. Okay. Right. One. Where is the other one? Okay. All right. So we got the picture up now. Front picture is here. Okay. And then we have the measurements and the weight. Okay. Weight. Okay. So let's start from what I usually see when I coach people from the app. Obviously, the more data we have, the best. Sometimes we don't get the data. Sometimes we do, depending whatever like that. We know that this person cycles and does Pilates, and she shared with me that she's working out 20 minutes a day, and then she goes a very unique system that that I'm gonna maybe talk about in the future. Um, kinesthetic, or how the thing is, kinetic strength. Kind of, it's like a 10-minute workout that is like a PT workout that is done in a specific way. It's quite unique, but we're not the results not necessarily going to essentially come from this, but we need to be able to understand what's going on, right? So we she start 27 kilos. She sleeps 8 hours. I don't see the step, but she feels that she's pretty active. 17% according to a BIA testing, which we know that it's not super accurate. Doesn't matter which one it is. On top of that, she used the one that you're standing. So the one that you're standing is not really measuring fat, it's measuring water. On top of it, is the fat is a consequence of um, like the relation between the water and the muscle. Therefore, is an estimation. When you are standing, the water goes down, so you are not really getting an accurate estimation. I would, by nature, when she started, I would say that she's something like that. They said maybe around 20%. You should even see the abs. She looks like she's more towards the between 18 to 15%. This is the second picture. She see no progress. I see a huge amount of progress. There is a lot more delineation inside. Fuck, I just forget to share. Okay. All right. So this is the first picture, and now you can see the before and after picture. Um, I hope you guys see. This was the before, I guess. Then the after. This is the after. I thought that we could do like a collage, but we can't. There is a much more delineation on that as well. So somebody that see every day yourself, you're not gonna see a difference. I can tell you that there is an improvement, right? What else is showing me an improvement when we now put up the weight, there is a trend. It goes up and down, right? It goes up and then it goes down. This is a clear water retention. This is a clear metabolism fight back. She's very low already, so metabolism is gonna fight back. She don't sleep very well. Energy is all over the place. Um, Cravings is all over the place. This is physiological. Okay. The other thing that I see when getting progress is the measurements, right? Like somebody always watch the weight, but we must check on the measurements, right? Measurements, the weight stay the same, um, that's more or less, I mean, that's more where her body stores the fat. But we have, a neck improvement, as you can see here. It went down, just a couple of centimeters, but enough to show that there is an improvement into cortisol management. The other one is the hips. Again, this is in 1 month, by the way, a couple of centimeters, so that's pretty good news. So you always have to look specs, and specs tells us here that measurements are going down, weight is all over the place, which is normal, and then pictures are getting better. So this person is likely burning fat. Okay. Right now she's on a 1800 calories. She doesn't follow. One of the difficulty with her is to find a protocol she can sustain because her logistic is kind of all over the place because she's very busy. Um, so a meal plan won't work. A recipe book won't work. We must find something that she can sustain. She don't necessarily track the food inside an app, but she's very good in estimating the calories. Okay, she done this exercise. We did it once a day with one meal, and she's getting pretty close to estimating correctly. We know that it is a game of consistency, so that's one thing. We know that 1800 calorie is what it is that she's doing now. I had a feeling that she was doing maybe too much fat and not enough protein of carb because she has a clear problem with the cravings. So cravings is an issue in the evening, down energy is an issue. So we need to kind of like optimize on that. And of course, she wants to get to a lower fat percentage. Now the question is, can she get to a lower fat percentage? What happened before to join the program? What happened before in the journey? And how are we gonna, what should we really do? Okay. So this is kind of like what I would do. And I want to share my screen inside my, um, what happened to my, oh, all right. So I want to share my screen now to ask the question, right? The question is simple. What would you guys do? Okay. We have Elizabeth here as well. That's great. What would you guys do in this sense? I mean, whenever we have master classes, this is what exercise we're gonna do. This is what we do in your own check-ins as well. Okay. Um, and this is kind of like we kind of like that's a kind of like a difficult situation because like she's busy. She is somebody that is gluten intolerant. So therefore, a lot of food that you should use, like bulky food, like pasta, like bread, like some good seeing you, Elizabeth. Like some version of other things, like I don't know, rice. What some stuff you cannot eat, right? Gluten. Uh, her gut is a little bit getting bloated right away because she was doing keto before. So it's very hard to process carbohydrates. You need to reintroduce them slowly. And I asked to her, tell me a little bit what happened before, right? So when you started, what happened, right? She went from 2 years ago from 30% down to maybe like 18, 19 or 20%. Then she It was for a year almost stable here, right? And now she's trying to go down, and then the body comes up, and now she's trying to go down, the body comes up all the time. So basically, this is kind of like the scenario. You have to learn how to see perspective if you're gonna find a solution, right? So now we're taking this, and we know that she lost 10 kilo. We're taking this, and we know that she went from 30%. And by the way, you guys are watching the replay. This is golden, I'm telling you. Like, if you don't get that this is how coaching works, and you still like all shiny object wise, like I'm gonna do keto, intermittent fasting, basically you're missing the whole thing. If you really see the value in this, come to this call. I can actually coach you part inside this thing for free. If you need help, get a coach. If not me, somebody else. If you are in the program, come to this course because this is actually like real masterclass time, right? So you get to 19%, right? And this is what happens. Then she does everything under the sun, including keto, including everything, and she don't move much from 19%. Why is that the case? Because over here, the behavior over here, and we're gonna call it randomly 5,000 calorie, and it's because she was binging a lot and all. Like I don't know what the calorie is. Then this created a problem. This created a 10 kilo more. Okay, she was also not moving much. Over here, she went down to a 1,800 calorie keto, right? So low carb plus 1,800 calories. Okay, and then she was working out a lot more. Okay, over here, now she's doing what she's doing now, a more balanced approach, more or less like that. And she lost the measurements. She lost the measurements. But the problem we having right now is, stuff like cravings, things like energy low. So the body's fighting back. Okay. So how do we fix this problem? Okay. Well, now you gotta go back and unpack this. You gotta go back and unpack this. So we have to see what are the biggest things that are in place and what is not in place. Okay. I reckon that she's eating enough protein. She's telling me she's drinking enough water. She's having some sort of strength training, right? She's also moving. She needs to be optimizing on the sleep because this is hard because right now we have energy levels fighting back. We have cravings fighting back. So we kind of want to go back again and looking into what happens with the calories. Okay. Two are the scenarios. She's either eating too much. Well, she's like, the body could use a little bit more calorie, right? Or you can fight your body and go even more down. This is basically what happens, right? But she has all the rocks in place, okay? Why do I know that even from the start? Because from the start, she looks like that. She said she feels like she's fat. She wants to lose more weight, but that's like she has the abdomen. Okay, so that's a pretty crazy starting point, and you're gonna fight your body like that, right? Now, the second one, after a month, uh, why I cannot put the other one, I don't know. But after a month, I showed before, and I want to give some more perspective again. After a month, we find ourselves here. It's better, it's more lean, but it's also very dry. What that means is like in the bodybuilding world, it's like means like you are you are not filling your muscles with water and with glycogen. And I know because she's not really eating so much carbs. She's having a few hot meals here and there. She's not having starch as much because of the gluten intolerance. And therefore, we need to find a solution, right? And I said to her, um, the issue right now, I needed to know the past, and the past now we know. The problem over here is that you kind of like need to see where we're going from here. We can go down, or we can basically go slightly up, or you're gonna regain maybe 1 kilo, but you're gonna take this 1,800 calorie to something more doable, like 2,300 calorie, something like that. Okay, so that's called reverse dieting. That's like we need to elevate your metabolism now. If you ask me as a coach, I would tell you we're gonna do this first. But I said, we can really do what you want because if you can sustain, if we put together the right strategy, the right principles, we are still going to win, but you're going to be uncomfortable, right? But we can also go all the way down and then kind of go back before. So big rocks are in place. Now we need to unpack the situation, right? So biofeedback speaking, we know this person right now is getting a lot of cravings. Measurements are improving. Weight is all over the place because of course that's like part of that's normal, no problem. Um, and the second question is like, do you feel more energetic? The answer is no. Do you feel stronger and more resistant? That also would tell me that your neural system is keeping up, but maybe not your energetical, not your, not your energy metabolism, right? So now we need to decide. She said, I want to go more down. That means that we're going to have to establish a calorie deficit, either from the output, more workouts, less calorie, or all combined. Okay. Now, how are we going to do that? Because as you see here, how do you do that? Is by either going to a recipe book, by doing a diet protocol, tracking the food, or intuitive eating, right? So this is kind of like the scenario you can go in nutrition. And you want to be clear with that because choosing the wrong one is basically kind of like what's not going to allow you, right? With her, she said she's pretty accurate in eyeballing the food. So if she knows that if she's not logging the food, but she knows how to track it. And she says, I'm eating 500 calories. I'm really eating 500 calories. So I said, okay, so let's shoot for something like one extra bike ride. And we're going to shoot for 1600 calories. Okay, so we have 1600 calorie over here. So now we know that we kind of, as long as you can make sure that you're eating that amount, and in 2 weeks from now, you're coming back and you give me the measurements and the weight and tell me how your biofeedbacks are going, we can make sure that you're getting results. Okay. Now, how do we do that? Because she's struggling with cravings, right? She's gluten intolerant. Okay. Uh, she said she's very busy. So like you want to unpack like one thing at a time. If you are a person that can follow a meal plan or a recipe, it's simple. We just put that into the app and all you do is just follow that. You plan according to what you want to eat. You cook those things. And then after that, you just keep the meals that you like because I believe consistency and low decision making is much better because it allows you to strive. In her case, it's complicated because I said you need to find a way to deal with cravings every single meal. And this is kind of like where the next part comes in. Uh, and you guys gonna understand now the functionality also of the website and the group and all that because like you kind of like need to use all the tools, right? Um, I'm gonna talk about at some point this week on what I think one of the most uh, actually I'm gonna open it up now that you can see, have a first preview on how to develop how to understand how the pyramid works, the pyramid, but not the pyramid of nutrition or exercise, the pyramid of success, the pyramid of success. And the pyramid of success is quite simple. The pyramid of success is I'm gonna open it up now. Pyramid of success is this. Every single time you want to be thinking, every single time you want to solve a problem, you want to think on this way. Your belief is has to be on the bottom of the pyramid of success because it's like if you believe the earth is flat, when you have science telling you that it's not flat, that it's round, then you're never going to take the action necessary to make this happen. If you believe you're gluten intolerant and you're one of those that is going to be eating all those pasta with low gluten, like and then you're not going to factor the calorie, essentially, you're really not going towards the main belief. You believe that, the gluten is holding you back. If you believe insulin resistance is holding you back, and you say, I'm not gonna, this is why I cannot get results, and you don't understand the problem is that you simply playing the game in a different set. Instead of playing with easy or medium, you play with hard, but you still can get the same results. You're still gonna just basically struggle more. Then you need to get the principle. Sorry, the belief. The second thing is the principle. Whether you want to twist it or not, there is 50 different diets, but the principle of thermodynamics is what driving fat loss. Calorie in versus calorie out. That's the principle. The principle of strength overload when it comes to exercise, you know, the general adaptation syndrome over here, the overload progression is like if you get stronger and faster and more resistant, your muscle is going to grow. That's the principle. We cannot just change that because somebody tells you that you should do a 50 minutes booty workout and you're going to get perfect butts. That's the principle. Then you find a strategy. Strategy could be intermittent fasting, it could be keto, it could be vegan, it could be one meal or whatever that called one meal a day, whatever that thing. Then there is the tactic, meaning like how are we gonna make intermittent fasting work? Because if we do intermittent fasting and we know that you're creating a calorie deficit during the day, but then in that time that you're eating, you overseen your calorie deficit. Now is no longer intermittent fasting. It no longer works because the tactic is wrong. And the tools is stuff like my fitness pal. How are we gonna ensure that we establish a calorie deficit? So now we're looking at that and we kind of like want to see what is the main thing for somebody that struggles with cravings? Well, you can starve with 3,000 calories because you eat all crap, or you can be very full with 1,200 calories. It's up to you. It's up to your choices, right? So we go back and now we go back to the website and we kind of like want to unpack one thing at a time. Okay. So awareness of food is goal number one. It's like, how do you, and I ask, what are you doing in the morning? We need to find three breakfasts for you. I'm personally doing either coffee with some source of carb that is good, like, I don't know how to say that in English, but there are some sort of biscuits, which is ancient grain. If I do work out, that give me a pump. Otherwise, I'm doing something like Greek yogurt with some fruit, with some oatmeal, something very fulfilling because you want to be using fulfilling meals. Like you don't want to go with dried fruit. You want to go with, vegetable or fruit. There is a lot of water, a lot of fiber in there. Then you go, for example, you have cottage cheese or Greek yogurt again for your protein. And then you have if you cannot eat those things, you need to find a good source of starches, right? So now we look at food choice. It's like if you're not gonna be using bread or pasta, then you need to be using something like rice cake. You need to be using quinoa. You need to find maybe a recipe with muffins that has some nuts, something gluten in there. You need to find potatoes, sweet potatoes. Like you need to find ways or oatmeals in the morning to find ways for you to be able to go according to your needs, but also according to your logistics. So if you did at home, you're gonna basically cook 3 meals every time the same before, even the day before. You can do a shake, smoothie like she's doing with some nuts, with some uh, I don't know, fruits in there. You can do Greek yogurt, something that fulfills it. Okay. That's now the second thing is the same thing when you go to work. It's like, what can you carry with you or what can you do that is gonna still do the same thing? It's like, I said, why don't you just eat a wrap? A wrap is like, the tortilla like that. And she said, yeah, but the problem is I cannot eat gluten. Okay. Yeah. Now we need to find a solution. So maybe a beet salad with some avocado, with some tuna, on the side some cracker, some rice crackers, something like that. You just need to find something that works. When you make somebody think, now they kind of like just get to the solution. It's not even about me telling you what to eat. It's like you just need to unpack every single situation of your life. And then the last one, you go inside and you find, uh, when we go into our group, you get yourself to the night. And one thing that I noticed inside the night, there was a lot of vegetable. When you make a meal, it's like vegetable first, protein second, and then you need a source of carb to make sure that you have enough volume. And it was missing that totally. So I said, why don't you just add a couple of hundred calories with some quinoa or with some yams or with some sweet potatoes or stuff like that. When you get here, like I said, she has a sweet tooth, or else the cravings could be for a sweet tooth, or it could be for because the physiology, because it's very low already. And I said in the night, and she said, I just made your protein muffin the other day, because that's a treat. Now we're getting in, I don't know, 175 per muffin calorie, and now you can eat that as a treat. If you don't like that, you can just go with something more crunchy like this one. You can just go with something more. You need to come in with a taste, right? Like you can just go, because in the night, you're probably going to be having taste something like that. You want to be finding foods that are not trigger foods. Trigger food would be if you just freeze one yogurt over here and you eat 10 of them, is a trigger food. Even though it's very good, protein and everything, it's a trigger food. So if you eat nuts, for most people, it's a trigger food. But if you're able to weigh 10 gram of nuts and then you know it's 200 calorie and then you bring it to the work and you eat that instead because you prefer, that's fine. You can also use uh, protein bars and all that. So that's kind of like what the first step is going to be like with her, because it's going to be like fighting her body, because she's not on a long uh, contract program. It's more of some sort of a month to month. So we wanna, I said, it's up really to you. If we work together for a year, I would tell you go first on a reverse, and then let's do this properly. You're gonna gain 2 kilos, but not 10. You're gonna gain two. We're gonna elevate your metabolism. You're gonna be in a much better position. The reality is that sometimes when we go from 1800 to 2000 to 22, people keep still losing weight. Like their hyper response. It's like the body senses the stress going down and you keep losing measurement really quickly. Um, so I thought that this is quite a remarkable case study, because it's not somebody that needs to lose 20, 30, 40 kilos or 5 or 10. It's somebody that starts from a very low percentage. There is some intolerance in there. There is a lot of logistics in there, and there is a lot of adherence. She's very good on adhering to stuff. She has very good habits, but she's not adhering to anything unless it's something sustainable, which by nature that's the case. The good thing is that the motivation is there. This person works out regardless to her in results or not, like myself, or else you would not be stuck for a year and still work out. But my estimation that she's stuck is because her body is getting to, when you lose, and now you're supposed to kind of like reverse a little bit and gain a little bit of weight, not so much, but this way you can elevate your metabolism. She didn't do that. So now she's been giving her body a signal that it's starving for like so long, and now her body's kind of fighting back. So now we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But I was quite stoked that she's still losing centimeters, and the worst case scenario, she's getting some cravings. And obviously now, when the energy is low, it's kind of problematic. So we're gonna need to see how this works. Um, what do you guys think? Did you like this or not? Like on the replay, you're gonna have a replay comment if you like that, because I can do this all night. I mean, this is what I do very well, and this is also what differentiates results from randomly getting maybe a result now, but you lose everything tomorrow. Like you need to see a big picture. Uh, does this help Davida, Marcela, Elizabeth? You saw only a piece, you saw the most part, but does this help? Because if you have any question regarding to this or regarding to your own particular situation, we can unpack that. This is why I always try to ask to everybody, come to calls, comment on the calls, one of you in the check-in, give me all the data that you have, because without that, we don't know what to do. Okay. And for me, it's pretty clear each individually of you where you guys struggle with, because based on what I'm seeing, based on what is missing, based on what we have to add. Any question? Particular, like I know Elizabeth, you came in later. I don't know if you have any question. You're doing okay? You can unmute yourself. Like
Yeah,
you're
I'm
doing
doing
fine?
okay. Yeah,
All right. Okay.
I have
So,
I find it very interesting, and I kind of need the knowledge.
mhm,
I'll try
that's good.
to read more, see the replay, and read more in the
Yeah.
website. Yeah,
This was a case study which in part is going to help a lot of people, because I know that when you can start critically think and you're going to see, okay, maybe we're doing, with you, for example, let's say we're doing meal plans, right? Yeah, sure, Davida, no problem. Let me know if you need help. When we, even if you had like meal plans or versus calorie tracking, whatever you're doing, still you need to go to the top of the pyramid and see what is going to be the strategy and the tool that I'm going to utilize, right? That's
yeah,
important. Um, Currently, let me just, I'm not going to share it necessarily, but I'm just going to go into how you see what I see from you here. You were also sick, right?
yes.
Okay.
We had
Yeah.
around with the norovirus a couple of times now.
Yeah. But you're still, the graph is going down all the time. I mean, I'm pretty, I mean, I'm pretty happy for what I've seen here. Seems like, do you have anything you want to improve, or anything you're struggling, or you're doing totally fine?
No, I just have to get back on track, really. I
Yeah.
was kind
Mhm.
of off balance with me being sick and kids being sick.
Yeah, this year has been terrible.
Yeah,
I really felt it too. It's like I didn't even want to work, and usually it's never the case. Even when I have 4 days of fever, I work. But I was like 70, 37.5, 38. But it's like so annoying. This cough, was like, really bad. And then it came on the side, sinusitis only on this side. So it's like, that's odd. I don't know.
yeah,
Hopefully, like, I know we got our immune system after COVID, all of us is like getting between vaccine and whatnot, is like getting worse. Hopefully now it's gonna be the last for this year, because really annoying. Usually in the summer, if I can get through the summer, I'm gonna try to do my try to cut down now. The only good thing, I lost 3 kilos, and I know it's bad because I have really ate a lot less than usual, and because I wouldn't able to work out. Now this is let me share what happening on my life, because that sometimes is actually good too. I do realize as well, as coaches, sometimes we get seen like, oh no, you're doing you just don't understand us because like you're so different. No, it's like for me at the end of the day, my downside is like that, having worked out for so long, my body is not necessarily gonna, you know, it's not necessarily gonna see so many quick results. But basically, of me, this is basically I definitely have this cover. I definitely have this. Well, I have this cover, but my body's not retaining water so well. So it's like I need a lot of supplementation with potassium. I definitely have this cover. I miss this big time. So this is gonna be my strategy to increase my calorie output when it gets warmer. I don't get this. I get this one. I have big improvement to do. I get enough sleep, but on the wrong time, very fragmented, not every day the same. And what I noticed here, I have, I would say, cravings now is getting better. Energy is up and down, depends. Mood is definitely not good. Uh, then we have, what else do we have? Anger, no anger is okay. So basically, 3 out of 5, let's say, is it's under control. So I'm optimizing. I had yet to see a huge difference on this before, and now I lost 4 kilos. So it means like I really established a calorie deficit. Okay. My what you don't you see here is the stress, and it's big, and the stress is big, and like if the parasympathetic system and the sympathetic system, we're gonna do it like that, is not the same, then it's gonna be very hard to move the weight. So then the only parameter that really shows the improvement is the measurement, which I'll be honest, I'm never measuring myself, but I'm watching myself on the mirror all the time. So like I see improvement on visual improvement, and strength and resistance is actually getting slightly better or the same. So I know that basically this is kind of like um, what's happening on my life. Why have I lost, in my opinion? In my opinion is again for there is not really anything prevalent of this. There is no insulin resistance. There is nothing like that. There is definitely a lot of like root causes, alcohol, poor choices when I go out, lack of planning, stress. The weekend it was bad. So as you see how many, right? And like just in this week, consistency for 2 weeks changed all that. Unbelievable. Like likely, if you guys do that, it's not necessarily gonna reflect so quickly because I have tons of muscle on myself. I'm a guy, even I'm more than 40, but still, even with some mild, if you will, you're not gonna call it insulin resistant, but not perfect blood sugar level. Even with that, you can see results pretty quickly, right? And basically, this is what my life was. So why we gone the rent, I don't know, but it's like I'm gonna be using this time when it gets warmer to try to move more to go as much lower as I can. And then hopefully I can get through that when the summer comes, because the summer is like for me the time when I get sick all the time from be around all the time, viruses, and it's like so I can hopefully then go into a maintenance level to maintain the lean that I built so that now that makes sense on the periodization. Okay, so this is basically what we're doing. Um, but yeah, get back to what you're doing, and then let me know if you have any question. Marcela, one more time, last time. Do you have anything on your hand? Do you want to talk about your particular situation? Because I know that you're periodizing for very long. So if you need any help that we can get you, definitely I'm here for that.
Yeah, I can talk little about my situation right now.
Okay.
Um, I'm I'm struggling with training now and food, and
Hmm.
I also have this cough for several weeks and
Yeah.
lots of migraines from December, January,
Yeah.
very much headache several times a week. So I feel I have no energy. Um, so I also use this migraine medicine, which makes me very tired.
Hmm.
So, well, right now I don't know if it's a lot of stress or well.
Have the situation gotten better for like with family and everything? Meaning like now, do you have your own place? Is like that under control, that part?
Um, well, I guess that's a main stress thing. I have my own
Hmm.
place, but um, I'm living with a father's dad again. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I don't. So we're
Yeah. So yeah, meaning like what I don't see anymore, and I know it was on the other because we had to change app with you. I don't see
mm,
any data, right? So at some point, I don't know if you're still tracking or not, but we need to reintroduce the data, or we need to have a call in which we're gonna go over like I did today with this other lady.
mm,
We're gonna go over the whole,
Yeah.
pathway, what happened, and now because we need to kind of reestablish basis. We don't. I just see the last pictures, which look really good. Like you would be another case like her that you start from a very lean, probably leaner than her. You're probably around already like 12% or something like that. And we
Mm.
definitely can choose to either reverse you or go a little bit even lower because if you struggle with cravings, basically it's the same protocol that I would just use. So we just
Yeah.
need to see what will be for you. Okay. We just
Mm.
need to see
Yeah.
what will be for you the tool, right? The tactical tool, meaning like
Yeah.
because if you're stressed, maybe tracking calories is not a good idea right now. So we just need to put together we just need to put up some recipes in there if you can follow it and say,
Mm.
okay, as long as you're eating 2000 calories for the next 2 months, and then we take some measurements now and some measurements in a month, and then, sorry, and then you tell me what happens. Now we
Mm.
know that your body visual is improving or staying the same. And now we're also looking at the energy level, the cravings level. So we need to look at all that and kind of establish an hypothesis as well. And
Mm.
if you cannot keep up with the food or the workouts, we need to get clear on why that is. Meaning, like, is it a matter of time? Is it a matter of that you're so chaotic now in your life that if you cannot uh, when you get to the gym, right? And then like let's say you've been not getting along in the house. You get to the gym and you
Mm.
have low energy already. Then you cannot work out properly, right?
Mm.
So that
Yeah.
that needs to be fixed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how?
because
I cannot tell you how. Like,
I don't
go
have
ahead.
energy for the gym. No, no.
Yeah. And that could be for many things. And again,
Mm.
we need to really figure out if it's more so of a psychological problem, meaning like, I mean, not psychological, but more so is a logistic environmental problem. That would be the case for that you told me before. Or on
Mm.
top of that, is your body fighting you back? Because it's like now I don't know what happened, but are you still on the same level of leanness, or are you still on the same weight, or did you get a lot of weight? Did you get some weight back? What happened on that?
Um, I think I haven't measured for very, very long, but I think
Hmm.
I'm like back to 65 where I started
In the
around
beginning
there.
of the program.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you already started very low anyway. So like that's I think the first person that whenever they see your first picture, like most people wanna be like kind of like the hand picture
Mm.
for them. So you kind of like that's not you have already good muscle mass and everything. So that's kind of like that. But you're
Mm.
gonna have to restart with those basics because otherwise it's hard. Like otherwise you really just and it's totally fine if you wanna say if you want to. I mean, going back to this, right? Oh, not this one.
Mm.
Let me just go back to the visualization here. But you're a quick learner and
Mm.
never. So it's totally fine if you want to go back and you want to say, let's focus on the protein first, on the water second, on the strength third, right? You
Mm.
can focus one at a time, and you're gonna leave the calorie deficit last, right?
Mm.
Totally fine if you want to do that, but um, you definitely need to start somewhere, or you need to restart somewhere. So I need those baselines. I need, and again, we know that whenever we establish whatever you want to go, let's say you want to now go from 25 to 17 one more time, or whatever the case is, we're
Mm.
gonna get there one way or another. So we're gonna have to establish that calorie deficit. It can be with both losing weight, sorry, work less calorie or more workout, and we're gonna need to cope whatever the problem is. Is it cravings? Is it cravings because of the physiology? Is it cravings because you are stressed from the home situation? So whatever the case is, we need to start there. And trust me, just putting that out for more later time, that's not
Mm.
a good choice. Okay. So it's like,
Mm.
even if we take one thing at a time, and I saw you doing some challenges, which is good, but even if you take one thing at a time, just get intentional. Okay. So if you need a check in with me, let me know. I'm going to send you just message me later if you want. I'm going to send you the calendar. If
Mm.
you want me to send, if you want to talk to Massimo again, we can also do that. It's up to you.
Mm.
We just need to get you back on track because the lock that you have is that you're very good genetics and very good work ethic, but it's very important your goal was to get as lean as you could, to think maybe about bodybuilding like Cecilia. So it's very good to get those one goal at a time, even if it's small, but get there slowly, right? So that's quite
Mm.
important. Um, Alessandra, sorry, Marcela, did I answer your question?
Yeah. But
Huh?
I
Good.
just think could we could have a call because
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
feel
I
I
agree. Yeah.
really definitely need to restart a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
need we
things.
need to put so by that time that we're gonna have a call just on the app, just put all
Mm.
the baselines, okay? Just new pictures, like new thing. Tell me,
Yeah.
we're gonna discuss more or less what is the level now, right? So it's like what is the thing now? Like what can we do now? What do you want to start with? But definitely we need to restart and kind of like also track, how do you say, fast track a little bit on the past because we kind of want to see what happened into this time that you've been a little bit sick, like myself and everything.
Mm.
Uh, but I'm gonna put a note here that I'm gonna send a calendar for either some point this week or next week.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Alessandra, you wanna mute yourself?
Hello, yes,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just joined, sorry.
I know you're late for what we covered before. Um, but I guess I mean we talked about it before, so like now that was your case study. So you just go back later if you want to see the replay. It's from A to Z what we talked about today, but with a visual. Do you have any additional questions for me, or that maybe they came from after the call?
Mm, no, I
Mhm.
thought it was quite clear. At the end, it's a lot of testing also to see
Yeah.
what are I would say the elements that make you feel good and also help you achieve your calorie goal. I
Yeah.
guess that's and getting that routine. It's a
Mhm.
lot of testing at the beginning, and I guess
Yeah.
that's the hard part to find out actually what works.
Yeah, when you told me that thing stuck to me, like on the call, when you said, if I eat the same brand of protein bar, the chocolate is okay, but the cookie and cream is gonna make me kind of like all bloated. That was like, wow, that's you are in need, like whether it's for neural system adaptation, which is on the gut, or whether it's some intolerance, that's not good news because it's like you really have to be very careful for what you're choosing, and that's kind of like part of the problem. But then this is also quite cool because that means you know your body really well. You are starting on a very good position, like I said. Um, I think based on what I see on the facts that you are going towards the right direction. But the key is gonna be you following back with me all the time. So it's like back and forth. If you need support, if you're not sure, let me know. We don't necessarily all the time gonna need a very into depth call, but it's gonna be just optimization. Like you said, it's a lot of testing and refining, especially when you get to very low at percentages like that. All right. If you guys have no more questions for me, that's a call. That's it for tonight. Watch the replay, you all. That's quite remarkable what we covered today, in so many aspects. And both, especially clients, but also people inside a group that wants to get a crack of this, come inside this call because that's real coaching, and that's, in my opinion, the only way to get coaching because And again, I'm not saying mean like mine. I'm saying like this kind of style because whether you are on, with a PT on a gym, whether you're working out on yourself, whether you're doing some classes, whether you are doing uh, some other things, whenever you do that, like I said before, you're really only looking at what aspects here, right? You're always looking at the tools. You're always looking at the tactics. You might even be looking at the strategy a little bit, but you're not looking at the principles and the principle drives your belief. AKA, everybody ask me all the time, what is the best diet? When you ask me that, you asking me the strategy and you ask me the tactic. But and sometimes, what is the best thing that I can use to lose? Like, what is the best app? Now you ask me the tool. I used the example before in the case study, so that we have a strategy that is progressive overload when it comes to workouts. Now there is this thing, well, it's in Switzerland, but it's also in US, that is workouts done in a 10-minute basis. You take a cluster of exercises, you put the maximum strength and very low ratio of movement, or more so like, and by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, you're here in the call. I guess it's like very slow movement. It's like a very high intense methodology. That's a strategy and based on a principle. But when something should work or something shouldn't work, if you are doing, let's say, let's take a random person does intermittent fasting, and now you are doing fasting for only, let's say, part of the day, and then in the night you're gonna eat more than what you ate in the whole day, your intake. Now, by nature, it's not gonna work, or it's only partially gonna work. And then you say on the belief, oh, I knew it is not gonna work. And that's always me, by the way. I'm always failing. It's not gonna work. I've done so many diets. So your principle is wrong. Sorry, your principle, well, more the belief, the bottom of the pyramid. So you kind of want to operate on the bottom of the pyramid all the time first. So coaching is done that way. You need to unpack, you need to come out with an hypothesis, you need to test the hypothesis, and then you need to optimize. Exactly like Alessandro said. Uh, Very good. I thought it was really cool. If you guys need anything from us, either message me or Dori, the assistant coach. Please do message her as well, especially if you have just a support issue, meaning like if you, let's say, know that you need to eat more protein and you don't know how. She's went through her transformation herself. She might have very interesting methods or tools, like we just said, that I don't have as I'm not a woman, especially if I'm not a mom or if I'm not a busy, well, I'm busy, but it's like maybe I'm not that in that same boat. So just use the other coaches as well. Very good. This was very cool. Let me know if you need any help. And again, I'm gonna see all of you individually in your own check-in. Coach Jerry here. Talk to you soon. Have an amazing night. Take care. Bye bye.